Welcome to Minding My Money Mondays, a common sense talk about money matters. I'm your host, Jared Rogers, CPA, back for another episode. Many people know that John D. Rockefeller was America's first self-made billionaire. At the time of his death in 1937, he was worth $1.4 billion. Depending on the methodology used, that pegs his net worth in today's dollars around the $340 to $360 billion range, which means that he was and still is the most wealthy American to have ever lived. But did you know that John learned a very important investing lesson at age 14 that changed his life? In this episode, we're going to discuss exactly what that lesson was. So kick back for 9 minutes and join me on the other side for some info that might just change your life. So how wealthy is $340 to $360 billion? Well, if you combine the wealth of Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos, Rockefeller would still be richer. We're talking about hard to imagine rich. Think Scrooge McDuck doing the backstroke in his money vault rich, but even richer than that. Rockefeller's journey to wealth began at the tender age of 14. At this time, he was selling turkeys and doing chores for neighbors and managed to save up $50 one year. That would be worth about $1,500 in today's money. Well, like any young kid with money to burn in their pocket, he received some shrewd advice from his mother. Instead of spending it, she encouraged him to lend the $50 to a local farmer. But he wasn't just going to lend it to the farmer for free. Oh no. It was arranged that the money would be paid back to Rockefeller in 12 months with 7% interest. So a year later, the farmer made good on the deal and returned the $50 plus $3.50 in interest to Rockefeller. It was around this same time that a neighbor hired Rockefeller to dig potatoes for 3 days. For this work, Rockefeller was paid $1.12. It is said in Rockefeller's New York Times obituary, it was stated that on entering the two transactions in his ledger, he realized that his pay for his work was less than 1/3 of the annual interest on his $50, and he resolved to make his money work for him as hard as he possibly could. And therein lies Rockefeller's lesson on investing. What if every 14-year-old in America learned this pivotal lesson and resolved themselves to make their money work for them as hard as they could? Many, however, never do, and they end up digging up potatoes for the rest of their lives. Unlike Rockefeller, they never truly understand the power of interest and how to put their money to work for them to live a life that they could never build by working with their hands. Remember, you working for your money, the number of hours in the day limits how much you can earn. Your money working for you, there is no limit on how much you can earn because your money grows independently from your personal efforts. So using the information that John D. Rockefeller has given us, let's now look at 4 key investment lessons that everyone should know to truly make their money work for them. Lesson 1, time is powerful. Let's say one day that Marcus opens up a savings account with $50,000 but never adds another dime to it. On that exact same day, Pilar opens up the exact same type of account with $500, but she continues to add $500 to it each and every month. Both accounts earn a constant 9% annual interest rate. After 45 years, whose account is worth more, Marcus or Pilar's? Well, surprisingly, Pilar's account is worth more. In fact, her account is worth $3,730,708, while Marcus's account is only worth $2,826,829. So the takeaway is that regardless of how much you have to start with, consistent investing over time can pay off in the end. Lesson 2, compound interest beats simple interest. Let's revisit the Rockefeller loan for a minute, shall we? What if the farmer wanted to borrow the money for more than 1 year? Rockefeller and the farmer could have agreed to simple interest or compound interest. With simple interest, the farmer would only pay interest on the original loan amount every single year. But with compound interest, the farmer would owe Rockefeller interest on both the original amount of the loan and all interest accrued for all prior years. Essentially, this is interest earning interest. If we convert the loan amount to today's dollars, or $1,500, and use a term of 50 years, here's how both simple interest and compound interest would play out. With simple interest, the farmer would owe Rockefeller $8,250 at the end of the loan. This is because the farmer only pays interest on the original $1,500 loan amount every single year. But if Rockefeller and the farmer agreed on compound interest, the farmer would owe Rockefeller a staggering $132,777. That's 16 times more than with simple interest. And that is definitely a way to get your money to work harder for you versus you working hard for your money. Lesson 3, interest rates matter. Let's look at one last example. Let's say that 4 different 25-year-olds decided to each put $178 per month into some type of compounding account. The only difference is that each person earns a different interest rate. The interest rates are 1%, 3%, 6%, and 9%. If they do this until age 67, how much does each person wind up with? The 1% investor winds up with $111,434. The person at 3% gets $179,416. This is 61% more than the 1% investor. The person at 6% winds up with $404,089. This is an impressive 263% more than the 1% investor. But the person at 9%, they wind up with a cool $1,001,063. That's 797% more than the 1% investor. Once you see the difference, it's hard to imagine intentionally placing money into an account that pays you 3% or 1% or even less. Yet this happens every single day. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that there's anything bad with earning 1% or 3%, especially in today's low interest environment. All I'm saying is that intentionally putting your money into an account that only pays those rates without looking for something else that could provide even better returns, that's something that every investor should avoid. Which brings us to our last lesson. Lesson 4. Time, compounding frequency, and rate must all work together. The combination of time, compounding frequency, and rate are what ultimately separate average from extraordinary returns. This is also what influences how hard your money works for you. So when looking at a savings or investment vehicle, it's important to look at all 3 things and select the vehicle that gives you the best selection. Meaning, what gives you the longest time horizon to earn returns or invest? What has the most frequent compounding schedule? And what has the highest interest rate? And with that, my friends, we've come to the end of another episode. If you have a question that you would like us to answer in a future episode, you can send them to questions@makemymoneymakesense.com. That's questions@makemymoneymakesense.com. And if you never want to miss another money saving tip, simply hit subscribe below and click on the little bell icon and you'll receive notifications every time a new video is posted. Also, if you found value in this episode, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with your friends. So like I always say at the end of every episode, it's been fun, it's been real. I'm Jared Rogers, and until we meet again, let's all continue to mind my money, and I'll see you all next Monday. Take care.